How's everybody doing today? Welcome to another podcast. I want to give a shout out to everybody watching. I'm Mayo, that's Mike. Y'all know what this is. Every day we get on here, talk about sports. A couple of things, man. If you're watching, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, love, everything. We got so many social media pages and they all have different terminology, but y'all know what to do on them all, man. So show some love on them. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It was the oh, I'm hearing some feedback.
Uh oh.
Yeah, I'm hearing some echoing.
It's probably on my end. Let me see. Because for some reason this webcam likes to think it can have a microphone too.
But you know what? It's all good. All's right in the world.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, Denver lost. The Cowboys won.
We don't
Baker
talk about
lost.
that. We don't need to talk about that part, okay?
Things went back to normal.
We should have lost to y'all last week, man. You still getting feedback?
Yeah, I know. It's still you're still fighting for the division. Yeah, still getting feedback.
Huh. All right.
Oh,
We're
you know what it is? Um, I think you're muted on Zoom, so I can't hear you, and I have to go
Oh, is
through
that better?
Twitch. Yep, much
All
better.
right. There we go. We fixed
Yeah.
it. I'm an idiot. All right. So, first thing we wanted to talk to y'all about today is we're going to give y'all our biggest upset of the week. This is crazy in the NFL world this year, man. It seems like teams that are supposed to win lose, and it's every week. And let me tell y'all from a betting perspective, I don't think I've hit one parlay this year, but it's always one team who messes up the whole damn parlay.
Yeah, it's been rough, especially if you're into gambling. But like I think this week and the previous week and the week before that had been the most upsets that they've had in a long time. You had five first place teams lose to five last place teams this week. Like that just seems unheard of.
Yeah, for sure. So, you want to start or you want me to go first with our biggest upset?
Go ahead. I want to hear what your biggest upset is.
So, initially I was going to say the Rams, but I went in and I looked at it, and the Rams have lost to the Niners the last 5 times.
Yeah, the Niners play them tough. It's a
So,
division game.
it appears to me that Mr. Shanahan has Mr. McVay's number here. So before I destroy the Rams and say, man, I can't pick y'all as my Super Bowl favorite, and then you guys choke like that, I'm just gonna chalk that up to they played the Niners, and for some reason they just can't beat the Niners.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move, and I'm gonna say it's Baltimore. It's to me. Baltimore, everybody was high on them, and they even had me doubting myself. With me, normally I say Baltimore sucks, and everybody was picking them this year. And then what do? They come out and they Baltimore it up like Lamar does and chokes. So to
Yeah.
me, I'm gonna go with Baltimore for this week.
That's a good pick. Lamar Jackson had a terrible game. Miami did a great job of pressuring him with blitzing, and for whatever reason, as you mentioned, he didn't run. Like
Yeah,
I don't know why, he just didn't run.
and I feel like he gets these games where he's like, I have to prove that I can throw from the pocket, and you don't
He,
need to do that, man. Like,
yeah, you're
fuck what
absolutely
these people
right.
are talking about, man. If you can run every single snap and win a football game, then do it.
It's almost like an ego thing, right? Like when somebody tells you you can't do something
Yeah,
and you just want to prove people wrong. It's like our friend Joey when we tell him he can't shoot and then he goes in there guns blazing.
that's funny.
Um, that's what it is. That's a pretty good upset pick of the week. I had like two I was tinkering with when we were talking about this. And like by upset, like I think I go by the like final score because like when you have a big description, like I was thinking of the Patriots versus the Browns.
Yeah.
But you know what? I thought the Patriots were the better team, so like I thought they should win that game. I just didn't think they would win by like 30 plus.
points. Yeah.
Yeah. But my biggest upset of the week probably has to be Washington against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Washington has like the worst defense in football this year, and like you're going up against a pretty potent, I think the number one offense in Tampa Bay, and they just laid an egg. Washington won the line of scrimmage. They ran up Tampa Bay, which was kind of weird too, because Tampa Bay has one of the best rush defenses in football, and they just manhandled them all game. Tom Brady just didn't have a good one either.
So we got Moose. Moose was saying there's no great teams this year. I agree with that, man. I feel like this is probably the most even in it. Like usually you can go into it and say, oh, these teams are really good and they'll be in there. But this year you have like 5 or 6 teams where it's hard for you to say. I think Stephen A. Smith even just said he's taking the Patriots in the AFC, which is crazy to me, but you know.
So I talked to you yesterday when we're watching football. I go, I could totally see the Patriots going to the Super Bowl, and it actually brings up like one of the things I wanted to ask you about because Belichick's getting up there at 69 years old, and then like who do you think is going to be the next coach for that team that leads Mac Jones in the future? To me, it's the obvious choice is Josh McDaniel.
Yeah,
he's just doing so well with this young QB and putting him in the best position. And I feel like he was Sean McVay before Sean McVay, and he didn't really get a great chance in Denver to prove himself.
What were your thoughts? Know most Denver fans hate Josh McDaniels, but I personally liked him as our coach. He had Kyle Orton, and he still led us to a division win. So I don't understand why Denver fans hate him so much, but who cares if he recorded some practices? He's trying to do everything he can to win, man.
That's the Patriot way. You got to record those practices.
So, Josh McDaniels is for sure going to take over, though. That was already, you knew that was going to happen when he was going to the Colts, and then the Patriots had to tell him something to say, okay, I'll stay, and that something is, hey, when Bill's gone, this is your team. So,
and like Bill's, I remember reading an article, Bill saying he's going to retire at 70. There's no way he wanted to coach past 70. But then I read an article earlier today. He's like, well, at that time, I didn't think I would make it to 70, but like between medicine and science, I feel a lot better. So like, he's like, I'm unsure. He's just leaving it up in the air, but I don't think he has that many years left.
I don't know, honestly. I feel like if he starts to lose more, the Patriots ain't no way in hell they're winning the Super Bowl this year, first of all.
Second, I didn't say winning. I'm just saying I could see them in an AFC title game.
The Chiefs are going to be good, man, and these teams are going to come to life. Buffalo, Baltimore, they're not going to beat none of those teams. But he's definitely, I don't feel like he'll retire if he can't win. If he's starting to realize, like, I'm tarnishing my legacy here by trying to win with these damn scrubs I got, and I'm just such a good coach. I'm always going at least 8 wins every season, and I have shitty draft picks, and I can't build a team. Then I feel like he's gonna leave. But I guess we'll see what happens.
I mean, he's always had bad draft picks because he just ends up trading players to get more picks.
Yeah, that's true. We'll find out. I mean, he is a great free agency signer too, man. So, also Highcat and Moose said he wants to win one without Brady. Yeah, I could
totally see that. That's a good point, Moose.
He wants to prove just like Brady did, but I don't think anybody's going to hold that against him because most football fans are going to say, well, obviously Brady was going to win a Super Bowl in Tampa, dude. They had probably the best roster in a Super Bowl ever, maybe. So. Oh,
they were stacked. They were stacked all over the board. So, yeah, I would agree. Like, you can't hold it against Belichick. They basically went from the greatest quarterback to Cam Newton, who can't throw 10 yards. Now they're going to a guy who's accurate and fits their scheme. So like, it works out for them, and I think the future is bright for the Patriots again, which is weird that it's a 1-year turnaround.
You have to think too. He's a rookie QB, right? So he's gonna have his ups and downs, and then he's gonna have his sophomore slump, and then he's gonna. Every rookie QB has a sophomore slump. So
Yep, you're absolutely right. I will say though, like QBs that are coming in today, they are more prepared, and I guess I would give that more to the coordinators. They are preparing offenses better for them as compared to the past. Like rookie quarterbacks would struggle, or they would like sit on the bench for years before they would actually become something.
that's the NFL is more of the college football than it's ever been before. So those rookie QBs can come in and pick up offenses because they're running the same sets. Whereas before, the NFL was like, no, you're going to come in here and you're going to run my offense, and if you don't succeed, then you're a bust. So it took them long enough, I guess, right, to realize.
It they caught up. They caught up. The league caught up to the way the game should be playing, especially with the way the rules are like translated. So
if it was still catered to the defense, I feel like we'd still have those. It would still be the same way in the NFL, but you can't play defense anymore. So
yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah, it comes down to the way commentators talk about it all the time. They're like, I don't know what the defensive player is supposed to do. Like, do you see all these flags for personal fouls, roughing the passer, or like even just some like touch fouls? Like, it's the game of football. It's gonna be rough. There's gonna be some grabbing, and like, as long as it's not a cheap shot at the knee or the head, I feel like it shouldn't really be a penalty.
So as we all know, I'm a Broncos fan. Mike is a Cowboys fan. Let's talk about, you go first. How do you feel about your Cowboys this week?
So I know you have a message for Cowboy fans because you were really pumped after people were hitting you up. The Cowboys came out and played the game they should have played against Denver. Well, for whatever reason, they came out flat against Denver. But Dak looked more accurate, more comfortable in the pocket, especially with his footwork. His footwork was much better. For whatever reason, the wide receiving core showed up. But my biggest takeaway every time I watch the Cowboys is how appreciative I am of Zeke with his pass blocking. He is one of the best pass blocking running backs I've seen in the game, and he picks up blitzes. He almost never missed, and like he's the reason, in my opinion, that Dak has all that time, especially when they use him. He'll hit the chip block, and then he'll go out for a screen pass. Or like a short flat, but he has been excellent in the pass game. And when it shows, when Tony Pollard comes in and does pass protection, Dak gets it. But defense is looking better. I'm still not sold like you are as Diggs as Defensive Player of the Year. I think he has terrific hands, and he can, like, if you give the ball's near him and it's a 50-50 ball, he's going to catch it. But he's still got some things to work on. He's grabbing a lot, he's pulling a lot, and he bites on some big plays.
I want to tell Cowboys fans this, first of all. Those of you that are saying Tony Pollard should start over Zeke don't know football. I'm sorry. And then secondly, Cowboys fans are the biggest chirpers, man. I'm sorry, but you guys... Every time, all my friends that are Cowboys fans, when they're good, it's just constantly, oh, hey, Bill, how are your Broncos doing? Look, I respect the Cowboys, man, this year. They are a good team, but you've played 3 playoff defenses on your entire schedule. And of those 3, it was New England, Tampa, and Denver. And Denver's not even a playoff team, but they are a playoff defense. So, those 3 teams, you went 1-2 against them. And you should have lost to the Patriots if they didn't have a rookie QB. So your schedule has lined up beautifully for you to have the record you have. Now, Atlanta, I will say, was probably more on the competitive teams that you've beaten that I've been impressed with because they had won, I think, 4 straight before you guys. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the hell that was. 3 points, man. Matt Ryan, dude. This is why nobody wants you on their team no more, man. One game, you look great. Next game, anyway. I'll say I'm impressed with the Cowboys beatdown. That's exactly what you needed to do in order to say you're a contender, right? Everybody's doubting on you. Everybody's saying you're not what we think you are. And you come out and you destroy a team you're supposed to destroy. So I want to see what the Cowboys have against more competitive teams. And we'll see that later. I believe y'all play the Chiefs this week, so we'll see what's up right this week.
Absolutely. Your point was dead on. I agree 100%. I'm curious to see if Dak can win the big games against the big quarterbacks because he really hasn't shown me that in his career yet. I think he's won a handful, but for the most part, he's lost all those big games. As Moose pointed out, I don't really trust McCarthy. I know you're okay with McCarthy as a coach, Mayo, but like I still have my fits about his coaching style and like some of his time management, decision making. But this next 3 games of the stretch will really determine like what this Cowboy team is, if they're real or not. If they go 2-1, I feel like they will end up being 12-5 by the end of the year, which is a great record. Getting 12 wins in an NFL season is really hard to do, and it'll put them in a good position to be near like the top 3 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, I agree, man. If you go 2-1 in that, I'll consider the Cowboys a playoff team from our Super Bowl contender for sure. And then back to your Diggs comment, no way in hell do I think he's DPOY. You cannot let Tim Patrick destroy your ass and then be considered for DPOY, dude. That's a Denver's 3rd string receiver. He's playing great this year, man, and maybe you can put him in the conversation, but if Xavier Howard didn't win it last year with the numbers he put up, then no way in hell should Stephon Diggs win it this year.
Would you put him in Pro Bowl category?
Oh, yeah.
He
could be a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, but I'm with you. I don't see him as Defensive Player of the Year. To me, those are the guys that consistently show up every week and almost every play. Like, they're the ones that the Aaron Donalds, the Watts, like the people that you're like, oh, hell, this is going to be hell going against this person.
And then to McCarthy's comment, I just met McCarthy is 100 times the coach Jason Garrett was. And you can just see already in your team, this is his 2nd year, right? His 2nd time.
Yes. Nobody believed in Jason Garrett. Like, I was the front runner of being like they call him in Dallas radio, they called him Redheaded Jesus. And like, he was just robotic in everything he did. And so like, I couldn't tell if he even cared that the team lost. His play calling was the worst. I'm so glad he's gone.
If you give McCarthy 10 years in Dallas, he'll win you 1, maybe 2 Super Bowls. That's how confident I am. So,
with the team that they have right now, their window is now. Like, they have like a 1 or 2 year window. Tyron Smith's getting older. They're gonna have some issues with money.
As long as you have Dak, man, you have a team, right? It's the same thing with the Chiefs. As long as they have Mahomes, they have a team that can compete. I wish Denver could get it through their heads. And this is a good turning point to move to my Broncos. And I know a lot of people that I talk to that are Broncos fans. A lot of people listen to me on the Facebook group, which I share these TikToks on. And I want to tell you guys right now, okay, we don't have a quarterback. We don't have a quarterback. We don't have a coach. We don't have an owner. It doesn't matter if we bring in Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson. There's nothing Denver can do until Denver has an owner. Then we get a GM. Then we get some coaches. Then we get a quarterback. Then we can win some football games. So you need to understand, Denver, that we're not going to be good. We're not going to be good for 4 or 5 more years. We're not going to be good because Elway decided not to take Russell Wilson. He wanted Brock Osweiler's shitty ass, who couldn't throw, but he didn't like Wilson because he was short. We're not going to be good because we picked Bradley Chubb over Josh Allen for some stupid-ass reason when we had Von Miller already, and we needed just, like, the ultimate pass rushing you've ever seen. Some good that's done us. He's been hurt every other fucking year. And then this year, even with our new GM, who everybody's worshiping and praising, who decided to pick a 4th fucking corner instead of Justin Fields. So we're not going to be good for probably 4 or 5 more years. Just buckle up. That's my take on the Broncos right now.
You know what I really enjoy about sports fans? They always have these moments in their life that they like will never forget. And for like one of these will always be they drafted another corner when they didn't need a corner and passed the quarterback. Like I'm sure you're gonna remember that. Like 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, you're gonna mention that shit because it's like I still get mad that the Cowboys drafted Bobby Carpenter in the first round, and I'm like, what the hell, dude? What the hell? It's shit like that you'll never give up. Moose, great point. Myles Garrett is probably getting the Defensive Player of the Year as right now. He's been incredibly impressive.
Yep, I agree with that.
So as far as you not having a quarterback, I saw this great highlight yesterday.
Don't tell me. I already know what it is.
Teddy Bridgewater throwing that pick, and then he didn't go for a touchdown, and so didn't go for the tackle to stop the player. And I just laughed so hard because I was like, bro, I know why Teddy Bridgewater didn't go in there. He's like, man, if I get hurt, I'm never playing again. He's like, I get hurt a lot. I'm that geriatric kid from Big Mouth. So, like, that's Teddy Bridgewater in a nutshell, man. Like, he's brittle bones. He's going to break if he goes for that tackle. So I don't blame him. Like, that's his career.
At the same time, you got to show effort, man. So
I know. But, like...
okay, look. You don't want to go for the tackle, that's fine, man. But you have to at least make it look like you wanted to go for the tackle, whiff on it on purpose or something.
It was so bad, man. Like it looked like he didn't give a shit. It's like, oh, my team sucks, and I know it. I don't even care.
They've all given up on the coaches. Hell, Draymond Jones in the post-game interview, was like, "Oh yeah, so why do you think you lost this game?" And he goes, "Oh, we didn't give a lot of effort and execute, and oh, by the way, coaching." Like, you're just gonna call out the coaches and so yeah, Denver, sorry, but we suck, and we're gonna keep sucking. Cowboys game.
I'm so glad you brought that up, man. I've been wanting to talk about that Bridgewater play all day.
The Cowboys game was a fluke, just so y'all know. All it did was cost us draft position, so we're not going to get a QB again. Congratulations.
Let's do a quick recap of the rest of the week. So like you talked about earlier, the Dolphins had the big upset against the Ravens. Lamar just didn't show up. Cowboys had a big blowout win against the Falcons. They just dominated both sides of the ball. The Titans was a big surprise to me against the Saints because they're literally without multiple receivers, Henry, and the Saints have a good defense. So I was surprised that they won. At the same time, I'm not. It's the Titans, man.
Yeah, you know what? I'm done betting against them from now on. I've always bet with them, and this was the first week I bet against them.
Yeah, and it didn't make sense to me. I was like, oh man, I can't believe you're leaving your dog.
Yeah, but I didn't think they could run the ball on the Saints defense, and they still ran the ball even with 3 backup running backs. So
exactly, I was there with you. I thought that was going to be their struggle, but the Titans, man, they play an old style of football that I enjoy watching.
Yeah.
The Colts somehow managed to win the game against the Jaguars.
Shouldn't have won that game.
Yeah, I really thought, on paper, the Colts should win this game. They should win it pretty big. But they didn't come out and play that well. They got a pick. Wasn't it a pick six or a special teams touchdown? That was kind of the deciding factor of the game. But Jacksonville, your future's looking better, man. Trevor's getting better.
Yeah.
Y'all have some weapons. Things are getting established there. It's going to take a while, but just stay patient.
Yeah, I like Jacksonville. I don't know about their coaching right now, but I say Urban Meyer at least deserves another year because it's not like he went winless. And
hey, man, he's winning all the time when he goes to the bar. He picking up those women that's not his wife.
He's trying to rebuild a team that's been horrible for decades, so give him some time, man. Yeah,
for real. Jacksonville's had 1 or 2 fluke seasons for the last 20 years. The next one was the big one that we talked about earlier, the Patriots manhandling the Browns 45-7.
Yeah, that was an embarrassment for my boy Baker, man. So either get it together, Baker, and stop making me look stupid, or like they shit, or get off the pot, man. Let's go.
And like I was trying to think, I was like, I told you, I was like, oh man, Baker struggled, and I was like, he's going up against a good New England defense, and I was thinking, did they struggle running the ball? No, they didn't. They still.
Yeah, but their coach for some reason went away from the run. I don't understand this, right? And
they were running pretty well.
It was 7-7 because Cleveland drove right down the field with the run, and then immediately after that, I think they're down 2 possessions, and the dude's just like, no more running. Baker, throw it 50 times, and it's like, no, that's not. And you got him under center still. I don't know. It's just.
He was 11 of 21 for 73 yards, a touchdown and a pick.
And then he got hurt.
Yep, bruised kneecap, right?
Yeah, I'm like,
Then they bring good old Case Keenum, who beat the Broncos.
Thank God.
Yeah. The next game, the Bills, the real Bills finally showed up. They made the Jets look really bad last week, and the Jets have actually been competitive for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
They thought they had a QB in that Mr. White guy, but they got an awakening call this week. So
that's true. So true. And then one of my favorite games, the Lions versus the Steelers. Oh, I forgot to put that into my all is right. The Lions didn't win again, so that's all what's right with the NFL.
Look, I don't know what the Lions are going to have to do to get a W, man, because that one was served on a golden platter.
Dude, so you went on this rant about Denver's organization and needed a change from the top and go all the way down.
Yeah.
Nobody needs a bigger change than Detroit. It has been this way for decades. They ruined Matthew Stafford. They ruined Barry Sanders. Like, what are you doing? Oh, God, they ruined Calvin Johnson, and he was one of the greats.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something here pretty soon, man, because if I'm a Detroit fan, I'm not showing up.
And you're right. That was a gift basket. They're like, you're going to play against Rudolph and the Steelers.
And they got the ball on the 50. On the 50. All you got to do is pick up 20 yards and kick a field goal, man.
It was like that one game that you bet on the Lions, and they got to the red zone 7 times and didn't score. Yeah, they didn't even score.
And they didn't get any points. 7 red zone trips with 0 points. Oh man, that's bad.
That was just the first half. It was mind-boggling. I'm like, oh come on, Detroit.
Yeah,
I'm done with them.
Me too.
I've been done with them for a while.
You deserve to go winless at this point, man. I have no remorse for you. Mike knows I've been on the bandwagon of. You've been competitive in almost all your games. You've been fighting, and I've been on board with all of that. But if you couldn't win this last one, I'm out. Like, at this point, you deserve to go winless.
I hope they get another tie. I want to see the first 2-tie season in a long time.
That'd be funny.
So we got one of the games I talked about earlier, big upset. Washington beat the Buccaneers. Unfortunately, the NFL lost a really good defensive lineman that week. Chase Young tore his ACL. Wish you a speedy recovery. You're a good young player to watch, dude.
Love you, Chase Young. You're great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also didn't have Mr. Payne, or I believe his name is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Montez Sweat.
So I still don't know how they won that game, but NFL any given Sunday.
Yeah, any given, especially this year. I tell you that.
Let's see, the Panthers and the Cardinals. Cam Newton had 2 touchdowns.
Again, another game where you're just. I understand Murray's not playing, but last week Murray didn't play, and they
handled the business.
Yeah. So why is it that you come out this week and you look like a college football team against Cam Newton? So
and you came out flat, and Cam Newton didn't even play that many snaps.
Nope.
It was PJ Walker, and those of y'all who don't know PJ Walker, he was a stud in the XFL for the 6 games that they had before COVID, and he was like a leading candidate for MVP. He's a solid backup, but I mean, your team, the number 1 team in the NFC. at home with all those other players should have won this game.
Yeah, for sure. Pathetic
Uh,
showing by Arizona there, but
Ooh, this next game is going to bring me to a tidbit. Moose is going to love this. The Vikings and the Chargers. The Vikings beat the Chargers 27-20. This game on paper, like if you just look at the record and the yards per game and like the teams itself, you would think the Chargers would win. I went into it going, you have the worst rush defense in football. You're 32nd in the league. Minnesota's going to run it down your throat, and they did. And I'm going to tell you, Charger fans, you have a terrific offense, but you're not making the playoffs with the number 32 ranked run defense.
so I'm with you. I picked the Vikings to win that game. I think I bet on them.
Yeah, you did. You did.
So I already knew the Chargers were going to lose that game because the Vikings are an all-around decent football team, right? Like nothing about them outside of Dalvin Cook is great. Their receivers are great, but they still have Kirk Cousins, so sorry.
That was an asterisk. They have some great players, but those players can't get the ball.
Yeah, you can't be a great receiver. Poor Thielen, you can't be a great receiver with mediocre QB. The problem with the Chargers is what it's always been, man. Inconsistency. And they've swapped out 50 million different coaches, and it's still the same thing. So something is going on there that I don't know, like what it could be. They even moved away from San Diego, and they're still the same Chargers team. So at the end of the day, I think the Chargers are still going to make the playoffs because offense wins football games in this fucking day and age, sadly. But they're not. They're a first round exit probably. They'll probably be like the bottom tier team getting in.
They're in that middle of that tight pack. You got the Browns that are close by, the Steelers. You got the Raiders. The Broncos are only a game out.
We don't talk about the Broncos.
Yeah, all of them are pretty tight packed. So like it's going to be a race. But like that's why I totally see New England getting into the playoffs this year. I could see them as a like 5 or 6 seed. You might even see the Colts just because their division is really weak, so they might even sneak in there.
It'll come down to the Colts or Chargers, I think, and I believe the Colts have an extra L over the Chargers right now.
Yeah, that is true. They do. We'll see what happens. The next game, we already talked about it. Actually, we didn't even mention the Eagles, but they put a shellacking on your Broncos.
Yeah, well, we'll see what they're about this week. I believe they have the Chargers this week.
I don't know what to think about the Eagles, man. They're so all over the place. Yeah, and you and I talked about they really don't put Jalen Hurts in the best situation. They have some talent on both sides of the ball. Like, they're just too inconsistent for me.
They just need to commit to Hurts, and that coaching staff will be fine. But my message to Hurts is that if you can put up 30 points on Denver's defense, then you should be putting up 30 points on it no matter who you play the rest of your schedule, man. So enough teeter-totter, and you're either a good QB or you're not. I think you are a good QB, so you need to start putting up the points.
I'll put a small asterisk. If you can put 23 points on the Denver Broncos defense.
Oh, yeah, because with pick six.
Yeah. So the 23 points, that's still impressive.
Yeah.
Denver has one of the best defenses of keeping teams off the scoreboard,
Yeah. Not a lot of teams have dropped 30 on us, so.
Yeah. Next one was the Packers versus the Seahawks. I didn't really know what to expect in this game. Russell was just coming back from an injury. It turned into a snow game.
That much.
Yeah, I did not either. And especially with Adam Jones getting hurt.
Russell doesn't even, I'm going to be honest, man, he doesn't look good the past few years. This year or last year, he hasn't looked good.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Seahawks fans, but
I think part of that has to do with their O-line. They've struggled with their O-line the last couple of years.
Yeah.
He's got some great wide receiver threats. So, when he makes his scramble plays, I feel like that's what makes the difference.
I love Chris Carson, too, so I don't know what it could be. This year, you're going to have a high draft pick more than likely, so maybe you could get him some help.
Yeah. I know he was rumored this was before the Bears drafted Fields to go to Chicago. I know Chicago was pushing really hard to make a trade for Russell Wilson, but it probably worked out the best. Justin Fields gets to go to a situation where he gets to play now, and also Russell Wilson's career still has a shot being in Seattle.
Should have been a Bronco, but yeah, we'll go with that.
That sounds like a country song. Should have been a Bronco.
Yeah, that's Justin Fields' anthem. So, I'm going to say this about Seattle, man. If y'all have another bad year, I think it's time to blow it up. Trade Russell Wilson for what you can get. Fire Pete Carroll and start over, man, because you haven't been good for a while.
And Carroll's time is coming, right? Because he is this was surprising to me. He's older than Belichick. He's 70 years old. And I was like,
he doesn't look 70.
No, he doesn't. I was like, what is he drinking? Yeah. Man, that boy looks good for 70. But I don't see him. He has a lot of passion, but I just don't see coaches going into like 75 past that time coaching.
Yeah.
It's a grind being an NFL coach.
Yeah.
We got 2 games left to cover. The Chiefs and the Raiders. The Chiefs put a shellacking on the Raiders. They finally look like the offensive team that everybody predicted them to be.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that they're back, and that's their division. And as of now, them and the Titans and the Bills are the 3 best teams in the AFC.
I really want to see what happens against the Cowboys this week. I'm with you, though. Like, if the Chiefs win this game next week, I think they're one of the favorites in the AFC.
I'm definitely taking the over in this game against the Cowboys.
So the thing that impressed me was the Chiefs playing better defense the last couple weeks.
The Cowboys,
I know their offense
outside of Parsons, and he's a rookie, and Gregory, they really don't have much pass rush. So I don't see them having a problem.
There is a slight chance DeMarcus Lawrence comes back this week, but
do y'all even have Gregory anymore?
Gregory is on IR because he has a calf injury.
Well, so you only have Parsons this week then.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
Parsons drops back in coverage a lot, so
it's going to be interesting.
You got to beat Mahomes with pass rush, man.
And I see Tyreek Hill going over the top of Diggs several times in this game.
It doesn't matter how good of a corner you are, right? If you give Patrick Mahomes 10 seconds, Tyreek Hill eventually is going to outrun you.
You gave almost any NFL quarterback, I'm not saying all of them, but almost any NFL quarterback 7 to 10 seconds in the pocket, they're gonna tear you up.
Yeah.
It's too hard to cover that long. And you know what? Even if you do cover, most likely you grab somebody and there's gonna be a flag. Yep. There's almost always a flag. Yeah.
And we already went over the Rams game, so
yeah, that was a trash game.
I don't know what the fuck that was about.
The only great thing about the Rams game, the Rams only got me 1 point in fantasy for my defense, and I still won because Kupp didn't get the ball at the end of the game, so I was like, yes.
So to put this in perspective for a lot of you guys, because I know a lot of y'all listen to me when I tell you about bets. And some of y'all believe I am some some person who doesn't lose. I bet $1,000 on the Rams, and I bet $500 more at halftime. Ask Mike.
Yeah.
And I lost all that money. So
it was just one of those games. Like Mayo brought up earlier, the Niners just for whatever reason have the Rams number right now. Well, that was our recap of this week in football. That kind of brings us to our next point, fantasy football. So a lot of y'all play fantasy football. Mayo and myself are in a league together. There's some under-the-radar players that I would want to suggest for this week. And then there's I just want to go over some players if you would buy or sell. So I'll start out.
Okay.
I picked up a player off the waiver wire, not in our league, but in a different league. I picked up Foreman for the Titans. The Titans are playing the Texans. Yeah, the Texans. The Texans' defense is terrible.
I will buy if he gets 11 carries again.
Yep. If he gets 11 touches, and so I think he's going to get 15 touches, 15 to 16 touches.
That's a buy. Like I said,
Yeah.
I even started Mike Davis at one point in this league because if you have volume, then you have fantasy opportunity, right? So
Yep. Those of y'all who don't know, I drafted Mike Davis in our league, and I thought he was trash, so I dropped him. Mayo picked him up, and then he dropped him, and then I have him again because I needed him back.
yeah,
But he's absolutely right. This league, fantasy football is depending on touches. Like that's always how it is. I always pick people that's going to get the most receptions a year, not necessarily the most touchdowns, because if I get the most receptions and yards, they're consistently getting the ball, and consistently getting points in the league.
yeah.
That I think that was my biggest like buy for this week. If Tua plays, I am buying big on Tua because he's going against the Jets, and the Jets defense all year round has pretty much given up anything they wanted to like quarterbacks. So
Well, interesting about Tua, I believe when he started, every game he started for the Dolphins, he has at least 18 fantasy points.
yeah, and that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's consistent. Anything above 15 is good for a quarterback, depending on your league. That's solid, and like he should get you some rushing yards, some points there. He definitely is going to probably light up this New York Jets team. There, are you a buyer for Tua?
Yeah, I mean, I would buy Tua, but it all depends on who's in your free agency pool. QB is, to me, the least important position in fantasy football because somebody in free agency is going to be able to put up at least 20 points that week. You just have to know who you're picking. The rest of the positions, to me, matter more than QB.
Yeah, Neil brings up a good point. For like I told him for the longest time, I would pick up Ben Roethlisberger off waivers all the time because for whatever reason nobody picked him up, and I just picked him up against a bad matchup or a good matchup for him, and I would get like 25 fantasy points because he would throw for 300 yards and multiple touchdowns.
And it's still funny that you see people picking Mahomes and Lamar in the first few rounds.
Yeah,
you're losing your league if you do that, man.
To me, you have to get running backs right away because running backs are scarce in all fantasy football. Like
they
receivers
get hurt too. Like that's the most hurt position in football.
So like you need people that are dependable and gonna get you touches, and it's hard because if you're in a 10-man league, there's not a lot of depth. You only have like 15 good running backs in football right now.
Yeah.
But wide receiver, there's a little bit more depth, so there's a lot of people that you can pick up.
Yeah, especially in PPR leagues, right? In standard leagues, it's harder for receivers.
Absolutely. If you're not in a PPR league, you're not really. It's hit or miss on some of these receivers if you're not in a PPR league.
All right, who else you got?
This week, what did I have? There's one more game I had lined up. Oh, so you'll like this one. I'm buying big on Baker this week. They are playing the 0-8 Lions. So if I had to invest, I would go with Baker. He spreads out the ball, so like I really don't pick a lot of receivers with him. Like you
can't pick Baker if the team comes out like they did last week though, because some of those passes were dimes and they just were dropping everything. So I don't know, honestly, man. Baker might come out and have another stinker because when he gets in a slump, he's in a slump. When he starts winning, he starts winning. That's the way Baker is. So,
what about Johnson as a backup? Like if you're in a deep league and you need a running back to get you some points.
If Chubb or Hunt aren't playing, I can start Johnson. I would start Johnson.
So Hunt, I believe, is still out, and Chubb is still iffy because he has he was on the COVID list.
If Chubb plays, Johnson's out. Chubb's every down back. So.
Yep, I'm with you there. That's pretty much it. Who I got. Everything else is kind of you got to really pick the matchup if you're looking for like a sleeper as far as a running back, a tight end, a QB. But these were the guys that were on a lot of people's like on the waivers where you can pick them up. So those were some of the guys we suggested.
So we'll do Thursday's game right now. We'll give you our picks for it, and then Mike will. If are you free tomorrow, and we can do NBA tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
I should be free tomorrow.
All right, yeah. So we'll get on again tomorrow for you guys, and we'll talk about NBA tomorrow. As for today, let's end it on our Thursday pick. Who you got, Patriots or Falcons? I believe, right?
Yeah. As Mayo said, we're going to talk about the NBA. I'm pretty excited to talk about a few topics. I've been wanting to talk about the Cavs for a while. And then I wanted to talk about Mayo's team, the Nuggets. And they've been a real surprising team for me. But this week, Thursday night football. Thursday night football, to me, is one of the worst things I watch every week. It's normally an ugly game. And I talked to Mayo about it. It's because the teams just are beat up and tired. They're just... So there's a bunch of softly plays, there's a bunch of penalties, and it's normally a blowout. My gut, my heart, everything tells me Patriots. I'm picking the Patriots this week. But man, in most cases, teams that get slaughtered one week tend to bounce back and play pretty well the next week, at least competitively. And so I'm kind of iffy on that because I do see the Falcons making this game competitive. They just haven't played well at home like they did years past. What about you?
If you're giving me 7 points,
watching all those barbecue
I'm
tutorials make it look like.
Oh, I'm talking just straight up. Straight up. A point. We'll go into the points in a sec.
All right, I think Mr. Rookie QB is gonna have a rookie QB game, and I think Matt Ryan will bounce back and the Falcons win by 3. This is that's my opinion, right? Because
this is a trap game.
I don't believe in New England. Sorry.
Yeah.
I still got a rookie QB. But if New England wins this game like they're supposed to, then I will probably start to put some more faith in New England. But as of right now, I think Atlanta got embarrassed. Pitts is going in, and everything I got, I don't give a shit what it is, he's going in this week. So I feel like he's going to get at least 25 fantasy points this week.
Pitts is a stud. Those of y'all who haven't really watched the Falcons because they're kind of under the radar because they're not really that great to watch, Pitts is going to be one of those premier tight ends for the next 10 to 15 years. He is just built differently. And he's already producing at the rookie level, which is kind of hard to do for some tight ends. So he's got a bright future. But I'm with you. To me, this smells like a trap game for the Patriots, right? They're on a roll. They're 4-1, short week. They're 4-0 on the road. The Falcons are terrible at home, but the Falcons just got slaughtered, as we talked about. So I expect a competitive game out of the Falcons.
The Cowboys game was at noon too, right?
Yeah.
All right, that'll be it for today, y'all. I'm going to go eat some dinner. Thank everybody who watched today. We appreciate all y'all, man. The viewer count was great today. We got up to 10. I think we had 8 steadily. So
yeah, we appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and feel free to check out our TikToks. Mayo's posting up some good deets on there.
Yeah, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a great night. Later,
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.